Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome. It's InfernoKun back with another discussion about The Walking Dead, the final season. I have a lovely individual here.
Hello.
Yeah, you might recognize his Britishness, okay?
Thank you
Go
very
ahead
much.
and introduce yourself, people who do not know.
Well, hello there. I'm SIF. My channel name is Sifmasry. I've actually collabed with InfernoKun before, back in April, I believe. I'm sure you guys loved it, so he's asked me to come back on the channel. Please subscribe to me and look at our video that I did on my channel. And of course, subscribe to the lovely InfernoKun.
Yes, okay, always great to have SIF over on the channel. So today's discussion is going to be about Clementine becoming the leader, because we have discussed this many times before, and now we got to see how episode 1 played out and various different things that happened that could, open the pathway for Clementine, looking at the future of what choices she could possibly make and, how she actually may become the leader of the boarding school. So let's go ahead and talk real quick about the how and why. Okay, so obviously Marlon, he was killed by AJ at the end. Okay, we all know that kind of stuff, fairly not very new, but that leaves a spot open for the leader, because obviously Marlon was acting as the leader of the boarding school for a very, very, very long time, and without that leadership, it might just have a void, left open for the boarding school, because most of them are pretty young, right? Yeah, so having most of the people there, kind of fill in for this role wouldn't really be too great. So what do you think about that, SIF?
Well, in my opinion, obviously, it's kind of clear that Clementine will be the leader, or should be the leader anyway. And like you said, none of the other characters really do fill in that role. So, in my opinion, seeing Clementine becoming the leader, it's the only right move. She's a natural born leader. She's shown authority and power even as a little girl in season 1. Like, for example, when Lee's group is puzzled on who should be on the boat, everyone turns to Ben as the weak link, since he was the traitor. But obviously Clementine says, no, this isn't right, we don't leave friends behind, which actually results in Krista abstaining from the vote, right? So that's another way to show Clementine being, powerful when she can be. In season 2, Carver calls Clementine different from the others. He sees her as a leader, and she's going to grow up as a leader. So I agree with you. I do see Clementine becoming a leader, and no one really fits this role better than her.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. It's been building up for a while now, with, of course, season 1, her small little inputs kind of affect things. And then season 2, most of the adults kind of look towards her. And then nothing really happened in season 3, to be honest, that involved leadership for Clementine. But for the most part, it has been kind of a long time coming for Clementine to finally be becoming a leader, going in the shoes of a leader and making choices that could affect the people around her in a pretty much substantial bit. Because looking at, what Marlon did, okay, he's the leader of the boarding school. He was in charge of just sending people out for food, to go ahead and gather food, and he made a bunch of other different choices that really affected the roles in the school. And even as the leader, made a choice to go ahead and give away both Sophie and Minerva. So there's been a huge emphasis on leadership, with Marlon, and various different things that he has done. So hopefully Clementine gets to do the very same thing. I hope to see some very branching paths that could actually affect the story, depending on what you choose, in very different ways. But looking at the how and why, once again, we're looking at the different candidates for leadership. Okay, only one I can really see that could have a problem with Clem becoming a leader is Asim. Okay, he obviously had problems with Marlon, just a bit of a leadership struggle there. But other than that, looking at Lewis, he wouldn't really fit the leader type, because he's way too sarcastic and wouldn't really take the role very seriously. Violet, I'm not sure. She's way too emotional for that kind of stuff. Obviously Marlon was too, but he kind of just, took that emotion to go ahead and strive for a better boarding school, while Violet just goes ahead and wallows in that emotion way too much. So I can't really see her being a leader, and everybody else like Mitch, Ruby, but I don't really see anything like that. So what do you think about the rest of the cast becoming, any of them becoming a leader?
Okay, so as I said before, compared to Clementine, I don't see anyone, not even really a sim, being compared to Clementine. I think Clementine just overshadows all the characters and towers all the characters. Let's look at Violet, for example. Violet, she's capable of survival, right? But at the same time, she's introverted and she's insociable at most times. It takes a while for her to get to know you. So her being the leader of the boarding school, she's going to come into contact with other people. Of course, after Sophia Minerva's death, in quotation marks, she's weak-spirited. She's very kind of, is never over that, over that situation.
Yeah.
As a leader, you are going to see terrible times. So not seeing any sort of good spirit or like hardship from her after Sophia Minerva's death is obviously a bad thing as a leader if she was to become a leader. Lewis, like you said, is sarcastic. I don't see him. Violet's probably more likely to be a leader than him, but he's also unreliable. His best friend said that he's unreliable. Marlon says he's unreliable. And then obviously that's a straight no-go. There's no way he can be a leader if he's unreliable. Come on, doesn't make sense. Asim reminds me of Luke personally. He's kind of like this very normal guy that that isn't evil, but he's just neutral in everything. He just wants to survive and look after the people close to him, but he's not like exaggerated family orientated like Kenny or like super survival like Jane. So he's pretty much even, but would I say that he has the confidence to become a leader? Probably not. You do see he likes his own privacy, and I don't think, obviously we haven't talked too much to him, but the times we have talked to him, you can kind of, in my opinion, get a feeling that he's not that confident as a person. His voice is very quiet as well compared to some of the other casts. So in my opinion, obviously, like I said, I think Clementine becoming the leader is the most sensible thing. Probably what will happen. I'm not sure how long for, but yeah, Clementine becoming the leader, and that's it.
Yeah, it's definitely already been kind of established a little bit with her having to, go ahead and lead both Violet and Lewis to the whole train station. She already made a choice there, like, hey, we need food. I'm gonna go ahead and take charge and say, hey, we're going outside of the safe zone and we're getting the food. And whether or not that was the best decision, it still was a decision that she had to make. She already, making the decision, she's already risking to do that kind of stuff, already showing traits of leadership right there. So right now, it's already been, established that, hey, Clementine, she's already been trying to, make amends for the group and try to go ahead and better the group while, looking at other characters like Horace Brody who might not have liked the decision to do that, but still, leadership comes with its share of just not agreeing with, what decisions you make. So obviously, Clementine definitely having the, just will to go ahead and lead the people here. So let's go ahead and talk about the choices real quick, because I'm wondering what kind of choices can be made in terms of a leadership role. I can think of some that are pretty cool that, might not happen, but I really hope that the whole state of the boarding school thing revolves around the choices that you make as Clementine, whether you go ahead and, do something very dangerous that's very risky, or just go ahead and try to take a safe route that could result in many different options, because that would be cool. So I'm thinking, of course, one of Clementine's first actions as leader maybe might be trying to stage a rescue for Sophie and Minerva, but we'll see about that. But I'm hoping that, we get to see Clementine make some hard choices, like whether it be to just sacrifice certain things, or just, making the tough shots. Like, what if, like, Ruby gets bit, for example, and you choose to, like, put her out of misery, or do something else, keep her around, and various things like that. Just as an example, but that's what I really want for the story. So you have any choices or things you want to see from Clementine as the leader?
I'd have to agree with you. I do believe a possible decision, and probably one of the first decisions Clementine will make as the leader, or as the leader, is to go on a rescue mission, or to stage some sort of rescue mission to save Sophia Minerva. In terms of decisions, maybe since she will be in such a good amount of power, a high authority kind of thing, perhaps she will decide who will come, or even perhaps decide the time of date. Maybe Violet would be like, yo, we need to go now, whereas a Sim or something can be like, go at night, there's probably less activity at night. So I do see little decisions like that where it does affect the story, like who comes and what time of the day, etc. would come. I think that would be a very interesting way to actually provide Clementine, as she's the one that's actually directly telling all the rest of the boarding school what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. I don't exactly see a Lewis/Violet fate, in my opinion. I don't see where she will save one or the other. I don't think that's a possible decision. She's going to make, not in episode 2 anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do think, I know you say that in your prediction video, but I do think what would be better is if a certain background character dies no matter what your choice is. For example, like Willie dying, I think it just kind of be a bit poetic. He's the first boarding school child that Clementine encounters when she gets into the actual school. So him dying is almost like a reminder that he's not much older than AJ, and if he died, it kind of brings Clementine to be more level-headed and notice the bond between Clementine and AJ, but also break down her spirit, because he sees her as a hero, which would make her more sad, but also the fact that he's still a kid, he's not that much older than AJ. So obviously some sort of choice would be significant, but also something that's going to happen regardless, to show Clementine, how will she deal with, the death of someone. Perhaps she'll have a little argument with another boarding school character, like, oh, you were a good leader, but now you're letting people die. So my opinion, that's the possible decision. I do agree with you 100% on a rescue mission to Sophie and Minerva. But what would be interesting is seeing how she actually gets her power back, after a lot of people speculate the beginning of episode 2 will result into Clementine and AJ being locked into a room. So looking at how that power change will occur and arrive to Clementine is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I definitely want to see how she actually, just makes amends for what happened to Marla and everything goes down, and how she actually be like, hey, you guys need a leader. I had the most experience on the road. I've been, I got this food for you guys by going to the train station, various things like that, which is very cool. And like you said about the whole, non-save Lewis, non-save Violet thing. Yeah, I can see that, kind of a little bit too simple. Maybe like make it a bit more complex, have it be like a choice you made that can indirectly cause one of them to die and various things like that. That could be more of a, more based upon, oh, you just chose to save this person. It could be like, hey, you chose to do this and that led this person to die. That could be a very interesting dynamic that could happen there. So that's definitely really cool. Hopefully we get some very cool decisions. Hopefully we get some very cool drama that goes down between the boarding school because of decisions that are made, and that would make for a very, very cool season. So you got any other thoughts, Sasu?
Not really. I would just like to mention how it is further emphasized that Clementine is different. Clementine, obviously being a leader, she's got survival capability, obviously from killing walkers at the start with Marlon, Violet and Lewis. She's obviously seen as a reliable person. Only after staying one night at the boarding school, when she wakes up and goes to Marlon's office with AJ, Marlon says that maybe Clementine can help him feed the others, even though her and AJ are too small mouths to feed. So it kind of shows that him as a leader sees Clementine as a potential leader. Similar to how Marlon and Brody was. Obviously, it's kind of clear that Brody kind of had a higher position above the rest. But maybe Clementine is even better. She's also a savior, like you said, with Willie and the train station food. It's obviously, he says, you are a savior, Clementine. Obviously, this is exaggerated to show how hungry the boarding school kids are. But from a story point of view, it shows Clementine is very different.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody looking up to her and pretty much just thankful that she rose to the occasion to go ahead and get the food, which is definitely a really, really big aspect of it, because without her getting all that food, she wouldn't really have too much ground to stand on for the possible candidate for a potential leader. But after getting the food, after showing that she's able to provide for the school, I think they'll look up to her and be like, hey, we need someone like you who, can get stuff done at the boarding school and who wouldn't do things that Marlon did and various things like that. So that pretty much just confirms that, hey, Clementine is the candidate for the leader, and I'm really interested to see how things go down like that. So that's pretty much all I have for this discussion. Got a lot of stuff done. Pretty awesome topic here. I'm really excited to see what happens in episode 2 with Clementine becoming the leader. So anyways, go ahead and comment down below, everybody, your thoughts and opinions on what you want for Clementine as a leader and what you want to see and how it's going to go down, because it's going to be very awesome to see what happens. Of course, episode 2 is coming out in at least around 2 weeks. We're almost there, okay? So that's pretty awesome. So thank you all for watching. Thank you, Safsu, for joining me for this awesome little discussion.
No worries, it's my pleasure.
Alright, be sure to check out our other collab that I'll be in, okay? Check out his channel, will be in the description box below. And that's pretty much it as of right now. Comment, subscribe, and like the video if you guys have enjoyed. I'm InfernoKun. This guy is Safsuf. And I will catch you guys next time on The Walking Dead.